On Menace to Sports, not our necessarily regular programming, something a little bit different. I've got Zach Smith, who dove pretty deep into DJ Uiagalelei, Florida State's Week 0 performance against Georgia Tech. And Zach's doing something special for us today. Zach is taking us behind the curtain. This was a paid piece of content that he did, and we probably need to cheer me up, Zach. So it's good that you're giving us a little bit of a boost, something for free. We'll give you a link if you guys want to check out the rest of it later. But let's talk a little bit about DJU. We're gonna watch some film. We're gonna break some stuff down. But first, I really do appreciate you doing this and taking some time today, man.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. You know, it was like 2 years ago, I started getting coaches film, like the all 22 film, and it was able to break it down. And it just, I started the subscription model mainly because YouTube usually dings it if I put it up on YouTube, but also it's just like, it's so eye opening when you can actually see everything and what happened. And so many fans are sitting there like, our O-line sucks. And then you watch the play that the quarterback gets sacked and you're like, dude, the line blocked the guys they were supposed to. The running back just skipped out in protection and didn't block the blitzer. You know, so it's nice to just have that perspective.
Yeah. Okay, so let's look at some film in a moment, but I want to get your big picture takeaway. Your initial thoughts after seeing the game, watching the film, initial thoughts on DJU at Florida State Week 0 performance.
Well, he started off pretty horrific. Well, first of all, he's so, I don't want to say raw because he's in like his 85th year of college, but his best game of his entire college career was his freshman year against Notre Dame. And since then it's been a regression, and that's Dabo Sweeney's MO. He did it with Trevor. He did it with DJ. He's doing it with Cade Klubnik now. And I know he went to Oregon State for a year and now he's been at Florida State for 8 months, but it's hard once someone is ingrained. We dealt with it with JT Barrett. It's hard once someone's been ingrained for 2-3 years at a school on fundamentals and how to play the position. It's hard to just break that. And we never could with JT. I think DJU is very talented. He just is really raw. And I made the comment on the film breakdown. He never throws a spiral. It's wild. For a quarterback of his stature, number 1 quarterback in the country, 5-star, all everything, he doesn't throw a spiral, and his fundamentals are horrible, which I can dive into when we watch the film. But that being said, after the first half, I thought he played decent. He missed a couple throws, but it wasn't as bad as people made it out to be. You know, I mean, he didn't connect on deep balls, which is a fundamental problem. He was 0 for 3 on his deep balls. But other than that, he's 5 for 6 on intermediate throws. I think this problem with this Florida State offense was the tight end's not very good in the run game. And they need to get their offensive line sorted out. I mean, they were rolling through a couple different guards trying to figure out, you know, who was the best player or best option. And it was just obviously a train wreck. And it didn't help that you're going against an offensive line coach in Brent Key. That Georgia Tech team, I mean, the defense was tough as shit flying around. The offense was rolling off the ball. It was just a bad first matchup for a team that's trying to figure it out.
Yeah. That offensive line stuff was so weird to me, and they had talked in fall camp about like rotating guys, and they rotated a crap ton last year on the defensive line, and I don't know if they saw, and that's what made Jared Verse and Braden Fisk not only shine at the end of the year when scouts and everything were tuned in, but it kept guys fresh, it got guys experience that we're hoping can get better this year, but when they said they were going to do the offensive line, I don't know if they just said like, well, it worked for D-line, but to me that seemed weird. I thought they were saying like, we're going to rotate them, like play a few series with the same guys and then maybe be up a little bit and try some new, which that to me, but like, it seemed like they were rotating like in between or in series. And I'm like, man, how do you get any kind of continuity there on the offensive line when you're doing that? I know we're going to talk about DJ, but to me, that was so weird. I've never heard of any. I mean, no pro teams do that, right? No great college football teams do that. If you're maybe middling and you're trying to figure stuff out, that's one thing. But man, that was so weird to me.
Yeah, I've never seen it, honestly. Usually you get your 5 by the end of preseason camp, and that's what you roll with, barring an injury or something. You just kind of have your unit that develops the chemistry and everything else. It was weird. I would contend that they probably don't feel like they have 5, and that's why they're doing it, trying to figure out, all right, what's the best combination here? Personally, I would try to figure that out in training camp, not in Ireland, but that's just me.
So let's talk about DJ. Let's talk about some of the things, some of his issues, some of the things that were a little bit tougher. Let's, we can look at some film. We can look at, I don't know if you want to look at a couple of different plays or what you want to pull.
Well, but I mean, I would say this. I'll bring the film in. And we can get it started. Let's get the right setup here. Well, definitely want the film to be big. There you go. If you want to feel good as a Florida State fan, watch this first drive. The first drive was like a hot knife through butter. And DJ was good. Everyone, the run game was great. I mean, Georgia Tech kind of changed stylistically. They started out in this quarters look, and they ended up going more one high. But I mean, right out the gate, the naked to the running back is a great play, wide open, good ball placement, timing. Everything about this is, I mean, I watched this first drive and I was like, Florida State is about to just absolutely steamroll Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it felt early. It felt like, oh man, we'll do whatever we want all day.
Oh yeah. And I mean, so this kid 75 stinks. You'll know these players' names, but the right guard, he was one of the ones they were rolling out quite a bit, trying to figure it out. He's not a very twitched up athlete. You can see him try to run. Looks like he's running on broken glass.
Yeah.
Looks like a strong kid, and it's a guard. You can get away with a guy like that, but there's just some times where the line just got beat, and this steroided out middle linebacker from Georgia Tech is a monster.
Yeah.
Then they get counter going the second play. It's really well blocked, and you'll just see. I'll fast forward the film to get to some maybe low lights, but this you have a lot of hope here, right? They're just going to run counter, and they block it excellently. I mean, you even see like the right tackle is going to come and deliver this double team to the guard and climb to the next backer. I mean, they're really well coached, and I know Alex Atkins as well as I know anybody. He's a phenomenal coach, and they look outstanding right here.
At this point, Georgia Tech hadn't brought more guys down to the box. I mean, I think they looked so good on drive one because Georgia Tech wasn't like in the box like they got later, and then Florida State just didn't seem to adjust. Is that what you kind of saw watching the film later too? Yeah,
for sure. And ultimately, I mean, they were able to dig their heels in the ground and try to stop the run game because DJU couldn't hit a deep ball. And so everything looks bad when that happens, right? If you can't open up the defense a little bit, everything looks bad. But I mean, their play calls are on point.
They moved with a little tempo. They went away from that later in the game.
Yeah.
They definitely moved with tempo in the first drive. It was like, all right, get up and go. And that's easier scripted, right? I mean,
yeah,
but sure. It didn't seem like that was there later.
But you see Georgia Tech here now. They're starting to bring guys down in the box. They're going to one high, bringing this safety down. Now they got a 7-man box as opposed to the kind of their 6.5-man box they were playing with before. And they just have an extra hat right here, right? Like this run play, they're just going to single block him, block back here to pull the guard. He's going to gap seal hinge for him. So you have 2 linebackers, right? 2 pullers. He's unaccounted for. He can pull for the linebacker. He can pull for this linebacker, and that safety's unblocked. It's just a numbers game, right? They need some RPOs or play action to take advantage of that.
Yeah, RPO right there to 10. Benson going across the middle. I mean, is 15. I mean, he might still be running.
Yeah. And this is one of those on TV, you're like, what the fuck? The line sucks. It's like, what are you talking about? Everyone's blocked except for the unblocked guy, and that's not the line's fault.
Yeah.
But we'll get to this touchdown, and then I'll show you. We can go later in the game. Like DJ, you see showing command, like flipping protections when they show blitz, and then just they're gashing them. Like this receiver has no idea what he's doing. He just lets a cover 2 corner go, and then I guess he's running an RPO. So that's like, but DJU's not looking over there. But they look great, right? They're gashing him. He hasn't done much in the throw game yet, and I think that's really where the problem started is when he started throwing the football.
Yeah. Because then they just have to respect it, Yeah.
And
they didn't throw the ball much in the first drive outside of like, your pop passes and stuff.
Yeah.
Or dump offs. And so at that point, Georgia Tech said, okay, if you're just going to run every single play, we'll bring everybody into the box.
Right.
We'll bring 8.
So the first drive, it looked pretty good. We can go later in the game here. And I highlighted this play. I think this is the one that was on Twitter. Like this is just, it's not a bad play. I'm not a huge fan of stretch, which is what this is, but you're asking this center to go get this middle linebacker who was a monster. And he gets kind of hip checked and he's got no shot. So now you got unblocked guys, right? And he's just going to run the alley and make a great tackle for no gain. And that's just where it's little things like that, angles where you might want to pin and pull there, or you need to take a better angle, or maybe he needs to block the D tackle and the guard goes and gets him. But they were in this a lot, like 3rd and 15, 3rd and 16. Like they had 3rd and extra longs a ton. It's hard to sustain drives doing that.
Yeah. And here, this is where they get a gift. I believe they get the sack and then a face mask. And if not for this, they don't get that long field goal at the end of the half. I think this is the last drive in the first half.
And I mean, this is just a right tackle that oversets, but I'm telling you, this Georgia Tech defense is legit. I thought I was going to see an inept Florida State offense. I think this Georgia Tech defense is really fucking good.
Yeah.
Like that kid is twitchy. That middle linebacker is a really good player. Yeah. So they get that gift first down. They're doing a lot of good stuff, like starting the running back up top to identify man and zone and shifting them back in the backfield. Like I really like their scheme. And the screen was outstanding off a hard play action. I mean, that's a great call and really well executed. They're doing all the right stuff. It's just, and I think we knew that. I mean, obviously the year they had last year, it's just the quarterback DJU didn't help them stretch in the field and allowed Georgia Tech to just play downhill like crazy. And the line didn't play great.
Okay, let's ask about that. Should even though it was more risky or may not have been as beneficial, should Norvell have stretched the field more? Like, is that someone on coaching to stretch the field some to make them be a little more honest?
Here's the thing: if they're playing Clemson, he probably does. Playing Georgia Tech, I think in his mind, after he doesn't hit the first 3 deep balls, like you reach a point where you're like, the kid doesn't have it today. Like, let's just try to get out of here with a win. And obviously that didn't happen, but at some point you have to stretch it. I mean, and they're doing a good job in the line of scrimmage, but look at how many bodies are down here.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, 8.
Yeah,
because they bring that safety.
8 bodies in the box, and they're still running the football decently. But every now and then, you're going to have an unblocked guy that gets a negative yardage play just because you don't have enough blockers. I mean, it's just numbers, right? You got 7 blockers, they got 8 guys. And if you RPO it, which I assume this isn't, or he should throw it. That's a good run to an overloaded box.
And as a fan, you see it and you're like, oh, 2 yards, what the heck? But at the same time, 2 yards, 6 on 8 is not terrible.
Yeah, no. I mean, here they're going to run quarterback counter. And again, this is the left guard this time. He's going to slip and completely whiff. And so that guy, that DN takes out the full or tight end and the guard. And so now once again, and the running back misses blocks. So now you have two unblocked guys right there. 2 failed blocks, 2 unblocked guys. And you see Georgia Tech is aggressive, man. They're physical. They're playing downhill. I mean, it's just, and DJU, I contend that when he's on the move or doesn't have to like think about things, look, that's great fundamentals. Like just quick drop, good arm whip, great ball placement. Receiver can't block worth of shit. But that's tough blocking a cover 2 corner.
If that gets blocked, you're probably looking at 8 yards there.
Yeah, for sure. But you just watch the difference in DJU on a throw like this, right? It's a simple throw, and that's actually a hard throw. People think that's an easy throw. Throwing a swing route is hard. Like the margin for error is very small. But there's not a lot to think about,
Yeah, just able to go.
Yeah. They stuck with counter, which I like. The running back just tripped here on 2nd and 8. So now you're getting another 3rd and 7 situation. But just look at how Georgia Tech's playing defense. Everybody, look at them sprinting downhill. You'd think it was a blitz. The safety's coming downhill. Like everyone is right at the line of scrimmage.
And if he pulls that once, and again, maybe Norvell wasn't giving him the option to pull it, but if he pulls that once in an RPO, what can they maybe do? DJ looked a little, people comment on this, but he looks hesitant. He actually does get the first down here somehow.
Yeah, this is a hell of a play. Honestly, he should be dead to rights with this. And this is again not on the offensive line. This is really on DJU. So you see, all you need to do when you watch protection is what way does the center turn, right? He turns this way. That means this is a lock side, meaning the running back's got to block either him or him when they blitz, right? He's got a dual read. So he either has to block this defender or that defender. If they both come, DJU should have seen it and flipped the protection. They both come. There's nothing the running back can do about it. And DJ does a hell of a job getting out of it, getting the first down.
Yeah. Did DJ look slow to you? Like not slow, like just reaction time? Is that just kind of what he is?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about slow in the throw game as far as getting through progressions. They did a lot of this. Everything we've seen so far is like first read ball out,
Yeah.
And that was an RPO. And they needed to do more of that. Like, all right, you're going to load the box. We're going to put hitches on the outside. And if you bail your corner, we're going to throw it. And if they're up press, it's going to turn into a fade and we'll throw a fade. This is where you have to, and this now I'm with a defense that is putting this many people in the box. The last thing I want to do is bring everybody in tight because now you just brought everybody in.
Yeah, they're all within 15 yards of the entire play.
Yeah. And there you go. That's what you get.
Yeah.
I mean, all in all, I thought they had a decent plan. If DJ hits a couple deep balls, it's a whole different game. They can't play stylistically this defense. The other side of the ball is a whole nother story because they got their shit pushed in a little bit in the run game specifically.
Yeah, it was the worst of both worlds, right? You were playing slow. Georgia Tech wanted you to play slow. They were able to dominate you. And all this said, like as bad as they played on both sides of the ball, I mean, it was a tie game with 5 seconds left, you know? And so if one thing goes differently, you find a way to escape with a win.
Absolutely.
But, you know, which you should, right? Like you're that much more talented, but Georgia Tech played perfectly or executed, their game plan perfectly. And I think what Norvell wanted to do kind of fell right into that, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's no question. Here's where you struggle with DJU, right? This is just a dig with a post over top, right? His read is the safety, right? So this receiver is going to run a dig. He's going to run a post over top. If it's quarters and this guy bites, you're throwing the home run. If he gets depth, you just got to find a window to throw the dig. The safety is, getting depth. I don't know if he thought the receiver would run by him, but that is, clear as day. That ball should go right here.
Yeah.
And it's just forcing the ball down the field because he didn't have success down the field. Now he's forcing it. And it's like, that's a 15-yard completion. Never mind the catch after run if he throws the dig here.
What about later in the game? So he did step up and make a couple of big plays late, a couple of fourth downs. He looks a little better on that last drive. I actually just saw in Norvell's press conference today that the helmet comms went out for Georgia Tech. So Florida State had to turn theirs off too.
Oh yeah.
Based on the rules. So I don't know. It seemed like they just ran slow, and maybe that was Norvell, like just being in DJ's ear and thinking he's helping, but it almost looked like he looked more comfortable when the helmet comms weren't working in the second half.
Right. Like, hey, get out of my ear.
Just like, let me stop thinking and let me play, and Norvell's great. Like, I'm not trying to, Norvell needs to coach him up less or whatever, but like, it almost looked like when he could just play ball, it was like, all right, go out there and get it, completed a couple of fourth downs, got like a 3rd and 8 too on that last drive to go tie it up. Yeah. It seemed like he was better then.
Yeah. I think there is something to that, especially once momentum's rolling against you, just to, like you're pressing, like we just saw him take that deep shot for no reason. He had no business doing that. But you see when they get him on the run, just look how he throws the ball.
Yeah.
Like when they got him out of the pocket, almost to your point, right? It's like, I'm not sitting back in the pocket, going through reads. They're bringing these Star Wars blitzes and I'm under duress. It's like, let me get out of the pocket and just play football a little bit.
Yeah. If he doesn't make that throw, he just keeps running for 5 yards, whatever.
Yeah. And it's just, you give him space. He can breathe. He's more comfortable, right? Just get him out there. That's a hell of a throw.
Accurate ball, gives him a chance to get upfield, doesn't throw it out of bounds. Obviously he had some bad plays, but that was a good one.
I think everyone knew he would have command just because he's a veteran. But here's one. I think I put this out too. This is one where 44 makes a hell of a play, but you got to look at why. Why did he make a hell of a play? So they're running just I call it base, where he's going to block him. These two are going to, everyone basically blocks man for man, and he pulls around for 44. He's got to find the best entry point to get to 44. And you see, he's thinking, I'm going to come around the D tackle. And this is where the running back really could help him out, right? If he presses his landmark, this guy might come over here and then you can block him and he can cut. But he doesn't press his landmark. He just takes it and he sees the ball and he rocks back right now.
Yeah.
So that's one that's not great by the offensive line, but the running back just screwed him over bad, right? See how he sees daylight, he just takes off. Well, now the linebacker can just fall back and make a play.
Or if he sets up that blocker just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just help your linemen out. Great running backs help their linemen out. Now you get 2nd and 8 under center. They are doing a lot. They are doing a lot. And
yeah, this stretch is tough.
Yeah.
With how fast they're coming downhill.
Absolutely. And now you get 3rd and 10. Like, these are not highly convertible 3rd downs. 3rd and 15 is maybe like 5%. 3rd and 10 is like 20%. And here he rips a comeback. But see how he's on the move now? They got it
rolling again. Yeah.
Yeah. Once they started getting him on the move, it was like, okay. And look, he's comfortable. Now I could really deep dive quarterback fundamentals. He lunges his weight forward more than anyone. He throws all arm. I mean, no torque, no, you watch him throw this ball, all the weight goes on his left foot. No weight stays back. I mean, you see good things on this film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You really do.
So they play Boston College this weekend. It's at home. They've got the benefit of, I don't know if you guys never played a week 0 game, right? But
No.
just the benefit of playing a game the week before. New staff at Boston College. You'd think they play a little bit better. Probably couldn't play much worse, right? Fingers crossed.
Right.
But I think there's a lot of things working in their favor. And maybe that last drive did put some confidence in DJ and put some confidence in Norvell in him. But I don't know. To me, it's like if you're going to be timid with him, you might as well just go to the young kids and get them experience for the next couple of years. Because I mean, they can throw pop passes and handoffs.
Yeah, and I mean, if that's what you're going to get out of DJU, you're not winning anything.
Right.
You're not going to go to the ACC championship. You're not going to the playoffs. So if that's the case, and obviously maybe not yet, but at some point you pull the plug and, like you said, go with the younger quarterback and build for 2025.
Yeah, where you did more on the game. Did you do some defense too, or did you just do DJU, or you did the whole game?
I haven't put the defense out yet, but I broke it down. It's going out tonight at 7:00. So the both sides of the ball will be broken down on our website.
Cool. And how can people get that? What's it cost to subscribe? Let's get the people over there to check this out.
We have a bunch of different subscription levels, but the film room, the one that the cheapest one that includes the film room is what we call the Colonel tier. It's $25 a month. And I'll say on average, we break down 5 games a week in season. So all of last year's breakdowns are on the website. Our off season, what I call bourbon and ball, where we just pick a topic and break it down on film, is on there. And then moving forward, pretty much every big game will get broken down. Like sometimes fan bases get mad. Like, why didn't you break down Florida State? I'm like, they played Jackson State. Like, I'm not breaking that game down. I'm sorry. But it's going to be the top 5 games of the weekend. Every weekend we break it down. So it's on our website, medicinesports.com, if people are interested.
Cool. I'm sure that you'll do Miami, Florida that week, this weekend. Notre Dame, Texas, A&M is another really big one.
Clemson, Georgia.
Clemson, Georgia.
If Clemson, Georgia goes the way I want it to, I'm gonna have a drink when I break that one down. I'm gonna enjoy it.
Well, if Florida State, Boston College goes the way I want it to, you won't be breaking it down. So,
exactly.
Hopefully, if Florida State fans, if you go subscribe, which we certainly would encourage you to, because we appreciate Zach doing this. But if nothing else, go subscribe to YouTube, go check out his website. But yeah, again, I hope you're not breaking this down.
I used to say that there was a Miami fan who was like, why didn't you break? I'm like, listen, if Miami's playing a really bad team, the last thing in the world is you want me to pick it to break it down, because that means it went wrong.
You don't want to be breaking down that Middle Tennessee State game. So,
no, God, no.
Well, Zach, I appreciate you a ton. It's ministosports.com, right?
Yep.
Awesome. People go check that out. I appreciate you a ton for doing this, giving us kind of a behind the scenes peek. And man, we'll certainly get you back on soon again. And we appreciate you a bunch.
Cool. I appreciate it, TJ.
Awesome. Thanks, man.